It's the Fellowship of the Geek Show, a weekly podcast about comics, the comic book industry, and other geek pop culture. Music courtesy of Manny the Martyr. And now, on with the show!
Hey there, everybody. It's the Fellowship of the Geeks podcast. My name's Thomas Chick, and joining me for this episode is Mike Marlowe.
Hey, gang.
Les Webster.
Hello, all.
And Liz Newman.
Hello, everybody.
How are you guys doing?
Doing well.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Great. Yep.
Hope everybody out there is doing okay. So what's been going on in your corner of the galaxy?
Oh, man. I've been getting ready for the holidays, so I've not a lot, but getting ready for the holidays, a couple of things I found out that I'm kind of perturbed about. CBS is just kind of dropping the ball this year. They've decided that they're not going to do the parade. And they gave up the licensing to Rankin. And so NBC actually picked that up, but they picked up all of it but Frosty Returns. So that won't be shown on TV this year. So it's kind of like, you couldn't get that one too? So it's kind of weird because NBC normally does the parade. I mean, the parade will be on TV this year, but CBS always did the kind of...
Now we're talking about the Thanksgiving Day parade?
The
Okay.
Macy's parade.
Okay.
Yep. But they kind of did they would break in and give you kind of short clips, usually when the Broadway stuff was there or maybe some of the balloons. They wouldn't show all the floats, but they showed the highlights of the parade, which sometimes when you're in the middle of cooking, 20-course meal, it's nice to have the highlights.
Right. Something festive on in the background on the TV.
Yeah, so
buy
that way
that.
if you've missed it, on NBC, you can do, like I said, you at least get the highlights there. But they've decided they're not going to do that. So, like, wow, that's crazy. And it's, that's probably the only tradition I have for Thanksgiving is the parade. So,
See, I mean, you got to think that maybe the ratings have been tanking lately or something.
Yeah.
They just are having trouble getting people to give a shit.
Well, I am curious what they're going to show instead. So,
Probably pregame for all the football games.
Yeah.
I forget it's also that day.
Right. By the way, we're sitting here talking about something that is going to have been passed by the time this episode drops. But anyway,
yeah,
it's cool.
But not the Christmas
I'm sure
stuff.
Our listeners understand at this point.
You can always say that, I hated that Christmas parade or something like that.
Yeah, it was terrible. God, jeez.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Who the hell likes Christmas?
Right. It's kind of a nice kickoff for the holiday season, and I wish that we could use that to kick it off because apparently we're kicking it off in October these days. But anyway.
Yeah. Well, and the parade always ends with Santa Claus riding in and ending it. So, which is about right. Usually by that time it goes off around noon, or here in Texas, goes off around noon. People are just getting their dinners done, sitting down, so it is a nice kind of like kickoff to here's the holidays,
Mm-hmm.
Just in time for kickoff.
Absolutely.
But one of the things I loved, for one, me and my sister, we'd always wake up. First one's there, get the parade going, and we'd watch that till the very end when Santa Claus came through. But later in life, when she moved, was further away, it was still easy to have something to, you turn on the TV and you're there together watching the parade, So we I guess now I've always held a pretty high regard for the parade.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else can go wrong, but not the parade.
You're kind of a nostalgic creature anyway, so.
Yeah.
I mean, we all are. That's why we're here. But
yeah, that'll be different. You know.
yeah,
I
like
won't have two places to watch it.
It'll be interesting to see what they do instead, for sure.
Yep.
Well, if you're looking for something, of course, there's always MST3K. They do a marathon.
Uh-huh.
Cool.
That's cool.
It's going to start Thanksgiving and go throughout the weekend.
Sweet.
That's cool.
They're supposed to have a lot of guest stars on there. I know one of them's Mark Hamill. So.
And they do that on YouTube these days, right?
Yep. Oh, well, I've seen it on YouTube. They may be on their Twitch channel as well. I don't know about any of the other, like Tubi or Pluto or
not Tubi.
Well, I mean, Pluto shows them
it's-
all the time anyway, right? They have a designated channel for them.
But yeah, they have a designated channel, but I don't know if they're actually going to be doing. I don't know if they're doing the marathon, or if it's just regular programming.
Right.
So that's all. I'm just.
There's lots of places to check for it. That's all. Cool.
But yeah, I know I've been seeing it on YouTube, so it's like okay.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's a thought. If whatever they show instead of the parade sucks, you can stick it to the man by flipping over to YouTube and watching MST3K.
Or watch it after.
Or, yeah, there's that.
You can have both.
Sounds like maybe you're not a football fan.
Yeah, and whether the parade sucked or not, I'd still watch it. It's one of those things. I think they're supposed to be like pelted with rain, so half the balloons aren't going to be, aired up, and if they are, they're not going to be aired up all the way. So I'll still watch it.
Oh, the humanity!
Yeah. Well, you remember the year that they did that. The last time it was really, really bad was the year that Barney went crazy, and they had to kill Barney in front of all them kids. It's like, hell yeah, best parade ever. Stab him for me too. But yeah,
I love you.
Cut him low. Cut him low.
We've seen the bad side of the balloons, We'll see if there's any more faux pas this year.
That's awesome. That's got to be available on the internet somewhere.
I think I have it saved on YouTube. Yeah, it was pretty bad. And speaking of pretty bad, I guess I knew it came out, but I forgot that it came out until it was on TV. But they played the newest Venom. I didn't like it. I mean, it was okay, but it wasn't as good as the first one they did. I think this came out like 3 years ago, and at the ending of it, it set up a Spider-Man like cameo. I guess they were going to do a crossover or something, and I guess things changed.
That's not what you got, huh?
Yeah, I think we got No Way Home after that, which is weird because they brought all the other villains back, but I don't think Venom was in that one. So, and then I guess in that universe they'd have to explain why he's not. Didn't Topher Grace finally take him over after Spider-Man?
Yes, Topher Grace was the Venom in the Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
Spider-Man. Yep.
And yet somehow we're still getting Tom Hardy movies.
Yeah.
Well, supposedly this last one that came out a month or so ago is supposed to be the last one, but who knows?
There's another one out?
Yeah, Venom 3. It's called The Last Dance.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's Tom Hardy also?
Yeah, that's only been out a few months at this point, right?
Yeah, it came out like in October, yeah.
Ah,
September, October, something like that.
I remember seeing stuff for it back in the summer, so that was probably just preview stuff. But yeah. It's real recent.
Yeah, it is not streaming yet. It says that Firewheel's still playing it.
There you go. Maybe it's better than the others. I don't know.
It'll probably be on streaming here real soon.
Not much better. The last one that I watched, Rotten Tomatoes score 39%, and this one so far has a rating of 41%. So
that's
not much better.
It's better. I don't know. Right?
Kinda.
A little, right? Tiny bit.
It's like you stepped on the poo, but it didn't stick on your shoe better.
Wow. The bitch is that's too long for a show title.
But yeah, I do like Tom Hardy as Venom, though. They kind of switched him around in this one, and they were mad at each other. And it's like, haven't we seen Marvel do this before? Where the host gets upset with the hostee and then doesn't want to do anything because they're mad at each other?
Sounds
We've seen
vaguely
this.
familiar. Yeah. It's like Marvel made this movie or something.
Right,
Crazy.
But, other than that, that's about it. Lord of the Rings did go back over to Max, which I saw an article about that, and it's like, that's crazy because that's where I've been watching it on, is there? But something about it's back on over at Max, so they've been playing it on TV. And of course, after you watch it on TV, you're sitting there and you're like, I can go over to Max and watch the extended cut. Why am I watching this one? And then, of course, you can't start in the middle. You got to go back to the beginning. So it's like, yeah, I've probably watched that a little too much in the past couple of months.
Oh, good.
So, yeah. No, I think that's all I have. I'm still following Yellowstone. Yeah, I was right. It was a suicide, but they're kind of now finding out that it wasn't and handling that. And Phil had said, isn't this all kind of moving kind of fast? And it's like, well, yes, but you have to keep in mind, this isn't the beginning of the season. This is the last, 5 episodes of the last season of the show. I said, so things are going to have to move pretty quick. Because I think now we've only got a couple more episodes and we're done. So things are definitely popping off and people are definitely going to the train station. So, yeah. I think one of the interesting things is a lot of people were saying that they were upset because the way they wanted more Kevin Costner. And Luke Grimes, who plays Casey Dutton on there, who's, was Kevin Costner's son, one of the main characters. He was like, well, originally, Kevin Costner was not supposed to be there for 5 seasons. He was only supposed to be there for a couple of seasons, and it was supposed to be, can the kids take care of this once the dad is gone? That was the whole ideal of the story that they began to tell. But as it started growing and getting bigger, I guess they decided to keep Kevin Costner on. So he's like, you guys actually got more of him than what we had planned to do anyways. And, of course, that sounds great. It's like, that's a really honorable way to say Manny fucking shafted us. But if I was those guys, I would not be happy. He put each of their careers on the line, I would not be happy with Costner if I depended on him for my money, And these people are not the big actors like Costner is. So you don't really know what their financial situation is. That would suck. Your paychecks depended upon an ego, But
Yeah,
I do
it's
like
Hollywood. I mean, you kind of know that's part of the deal when you start.
Yeah, nothing's guaranteed, And you have to admit, though, Yellowstone, they were riding a high and hit the brick wall. I mean, instantly. I think first with the pandemic, and then the pandemic Costner hit them again after. So it's been bad. But I do like the way he handled this. I'm finding now with all the shows of his that I watch, I'm a Taylor Sheridan fan. I love the stories that he has to tell. Um, one of the episodes people got upset about. He owns the 4 Sixes here in Texas, which is, from us, it's a little out past Fort Worth. It's one of the biggest ranches in Texas. It has lots of generation behind it and everything else. Well, he owns this now. And one of the new spinoff series is about life on that ranch, So we've got a TV show coming up about the 4 Sixes. He owns this. Well, in one of the scenes on Yellowstone, they go into the bar and they show the tequila. It's either tequila, no, it's vodka. They show the vodka and it's 4 Sixes vodka. So, of course, everyone's like, oh, man, look at the ad placement and blah, 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 blah. I'm sorry, guys. If I owned my own show and I owned my own alcohol, everybody on my damn show is going to be drinking my alcohol. You know what I'm saying? Who's paying me? It's mine.
When are you going to start this?
Right? Very soon. But I don't see why they get upset with him doing something they would do themselves, And it wasn't like 30% alcohol, that kind of commercial. It was just we'll drink that kind of thing.
Oh, right.
Yeah, And he said, the bartender was like, this is the only thing we serve here. Well, yeah, no duh. They're on the 4-6 ranch. What else are you going to drink out there?
Right,
you think he stocked anything else out there?
Why, yes. This is very smooth tasting.
Yeah. It's like, jeez. But yeah, so I think they should cut him a little bit of slack. He did have a lot that he was working against bringing this back for us, so I'm just kind of enjoying the last of what he's given us. Although he does have another series in the works. Totally forgot the name. They played a clip of it after Yellowstone last week, and it looks really, really interesting. But I think we was watching Yellowstone. No, we were watching something else on Paramount. Because, see, that's one thing I will complain about. They're not streaming Yellowstone the way that they did all the other seasons. Before, you could watch it the next day on Paramount. Well, and remember, that was also the one where, no, you couldn't watch, you had to watch seasons 1 through 3 on Peacock, 4 through 5 was on Paramount. Well, now it's on neither. You have to watch it live. And that really sucks. I hate watching anything live, For one, I feel like I'm going to miss something, Well,
that actually does suck because it was originally just a streaming series, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was.
It wasn't on live TV until the writer's strike, basically, and then they decided they needed some shit to put on the air, and so they just pulled it off the streaming service and stuck it on the air.
Mm-hmm. They broadcasted it then, yeah.
Uh-huh.
But now, DirecTV, you can watch it live. They have, the DirecTV Live. You can watch it that way, but they get you on that because even if you watch it on the live, you can watch it at any time, but you still have to watch commercials on it. You can't fast forward through those. So it's kind of like this.
Oh, no. We've got to watch TV like a pleb, huh?
So now we're just recording it and watching it after, now that I've thought to set it up and everything. But so yeah, it's just kind of weird the way that they're bringing it back and finishing it. I think, you make people wait a couple of years for the last couple of your episodes. I'd put it everywhere I could. Everybody needs to watch this. I need to recoup these people, But no, Let's make it as difficult as possible.
Well, and if it was up to Taylor Sheridan, he would make it available to everybody, but that's not how that works. And right now they're still trying to. All these companies are still trying to figure out how TV is supposed to work in the future.
Yeah.
And so nobody really knows what to do with anything at this point.
Yeah.
And I was going to say Taylor has no control over that, so I mean,
Right.
He what?
He has no control over that.
Yeah.
What was happening with the show? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. His job is to make the show. It is not his job to distribute the show.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very different jobs.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever we were watching, another one of his shows came on called Lioness. And that one looks pretty interesting, too. I only caught parts and pieces of it. Phil watched a lot of it, but it's like, I think I'll have to go back and watch that one, too. This one's more of an army show than a Western, like most of his other stuff. So, yeah. I guess desert cowboys, huh?
Golly.
We'll see. I mean, a lot of it's.
Well, he does. Costner does have a show on the Fox channel. The subscription channel about Yellowstone.
Oh, yeah?
It's not the version. It's about Yellowstone.
Like a documentary or something?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So, film like a documentary talking about the wide open spaces and all that.
Yeah, and like the Bridgertons, I'm sure, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Cool.
I may have to watch that, too. But yeah. That's about it.
Cool. I had to pause for a minute there to make sure that was about it, because that's the third time you said that's about it.
Yeah, I had to check my notes.
It's fine.
Because last week, it's like everything I was going to say completely left my head. So
you wrote it down.
It's like, I know smart. I did stuff.
That's smart. Writing it down is smart.
Right?
I don't care what Les says. Writing it down is smart.
Yeah. But it's weird because Microsoft has changed my password on me again. So if I log out of Skype, like what we're recording on right now, I don't know how to log back in because they've changed my password. So I normally keep my notes on OneNote. It's just easy. I can pin it and keep, browsing, research, that kind of thing. Well, I can't sign into it. So it's like, yeah. So I've been using Google Docs. Oh my God.
It's different.
It sucks.
It's not better or worse, but it is different. Oh, no. When you get the hang of it, it works just the same. You just have to go to different places to find stuff. That's all.
Yeah. I'll work with it a little bit more, but like I said, I like my OneNote because it was kind of like a book. I could go back and look at, previous episodes and that kind of thing. With Google Docs, it's like a hunt and search.
Yeah,
it may be there.
Well, it's the different. Yeah, OneNote and Google Docs is more like Microsoft Word than it is like Microsoft OneNote.
Yeah.
So it's not apples to apples. So yeah, Google Doc is very different from what you're doing with OneNote, but you can get used to it. It's doable.
Yeah, I can't even sign into Word.
Right.
I would have used that.
You should probably figure out how to reset your password, but
I will, but I'll probably wait till after the holidays because, yeah.
Oh yeah, whatever. I'm not telling you to do it now. Jeez.
Yeah.
You could feel free to tell me what to go do with myself if I do tell you to do it now, but
Right now, right this
second.
Damn it,
we're going to pause this recording so you can go call whatever. No, hell no, that's crazy. I don't want to have to edit that shit.
I had to replace the power supply, and I was freaking out because it was like, please, please, please don't log me out of all of my stuff. Just let me change it. because I know I just got my headphones working right. You guys haven't had to yell at me in a very long time about it. You can hear me when I log in, so it's like I don't want to mess with anything.
All right, fair enough.
So I'll wait till the holiday break and tear it up then,
Oh, God. Something to look forward to.
Extra week.
Sounds like we're going to start the next year on a good note.
Mm-hmm. Could be exciting.
Woo-hoo.
Wee.
And boo.
Exciting and new.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Fine vibing with her too.
Anyway.
So what'd you do, Mikey?
Uh-huh.
Nice segue.
I know, smooth, wasn't it? Smooth as silk. Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Well, yeah, right. So I finally finished something this week, but I'm half scared to mention what it was because it could start a whole landslide of stuff that I think it's probably dangerous to start. But yes, I did finish Rings of Power finally.
So did the last 5 minutes irk you too? The whole grand elf thing?
Okay, you know what got me with that? And okay, this show's been fully on streaming for months now because I'm slow. And so spoiler time in the neighborhood, boys and girls. That actually did irritate me a bit because there was a throwaway line like in episode 3 that was the perfect setup for where that actually came from.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was a point, and it was very quick and subtle, and it wasn't a big deal, but Nori used the word Gand. And the deal, for those who don't know, Gand is essentially derived from Old Finnish, and it basically means staff. And that is honestly, if you look it up, the way they break down the word Gandalf, the name Gandalf, it is almost directly staff elf.
Yeah.
They set it up, and then they go with this grand elf shit. I'm like, really? I mean, okay, but damn, that's not the way I would have done that at all. You're oversimplifying.
Yeah, no. Well, I think I remember the part you were talking about with him and Nori. He was actually looking for his staff at that time.
He'd been looking for his staff the whole season. I mean, the whole 27 minutes that he was in the 8-hour season. But because it was they got short shifted on that one big time. But
when you take the two and put it together, it was like you said, it was the perfect setup. And it was like, I think that was also a nod to people because they hadn't at that point come out and said, hey, this is Gandalf,
Right.
I think it was a kind of nod to people going, it's coming. It is who you think it is.
And yeah, and like I said, I will give them credit for it being kind of subtle and just sort of slipped in there. But then so they go to the trouble to actually set that up, and then they softball it in with Grand Elf.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, come on, people. Are you afraid that they missed the reference 5 episodes ago? If you are, then maybe don't make it 5 freaking episodes ago. Maybe do it a little quicker so you don't lose people.
Which we knew at the ending of the first season, that's pretty much who they were implying he was.
Oh, hell yeah. There was no doubt.
So,
I mean, I honestly picked it out.
Everybody was like, the
pretty
Blue
much from
Wizards,
the beginning.
And it's like, I don't know, because didn't all them die? I don't know if they would do that. I hope they wouldn't do that, but So my question is, if this was Gandalf, where is Sauron? Wasn't he here like before him?
Not by much. They just kind of haven't gotten there yet, I think.
So you think the people in the desert are actually looking for him instead of Gandalf?
No, I think who they're calling the Dark Wizard, I think he was looking for Gandalf. I think he was waiting for Gandalf to show up. Why? They were very much unclear about. They didn't go into any of that at all.
But if they showed up around the same time, maybe he thought he was looking for Gandalf, and then he finds out later, no I'm actually looking for this guy. Yeah.
Maybe. And maybe in a season or two we'll get to that, I think. I mean, something will have to happen. They're going to have to figure out what this whole Dark Wizard thing is, because that's entirely invented.
As far as I don't remember him. Yeah. I said some of it was pretty interesting. My favorite part of the whole thing was after Sauron almost killed Gadriel. Like, he had her on the ground and was about to kill her. She
literally
couldn't move.
Stabbed her in the chest with Morgoth's crown. Yeah.
Yeah. So she takes and flings herself off a fucking cliff, and she's okay.
No, she was not okay.
At death's door.
No, she was not okay. And
shouldn't that have finished her off?
except for what was honestly a big character turning point for Elrond. He actually finally accepted the rings to save his friend. He finally put on a ring.
Wouldn't her ring actually have been the better ring in that situation?
It was her ring.
I thought she had her ring that she took back from him.
She had pulled it off when she was standing in front of Sauron. She had pulled it off and was acting like she was going to drop it into his hand. So it was not on her finger when she fell. He looked over it and picked it up off the ground several feet away. He spotted it in the grass and picked it up. And he put on her ring to save her.
Okay.
Now,
so it's like
how it got to be her ring to begin with, this show has totally dropped the ball on, in my opinion. But anyway, I mean, it is her ring, and that's canon. It was always her ring.
Before the Third Age, shouldn't Gandalf also have a ring?
The
Ring of Fire?
Before the Third Age, no.
Okay.
The deal is, Círdan has the Ring of Fire. And the deal is that when Círdan leaves to go to Valinor, he gives the Ring of Fire to Gandalf.
Okay.
So yeah, no, he doesn't have it yet. And the deal is that Elrond doesn't have a ring yet either, because Gil-galad has
he controls one. Okay. As I was saying, he controlled one too, didn't he?
Later, yes. Again, that transaction will happen later, because Gil-galad, spoiler alert, isn't going to make it.
Yeah.
Whether he's going to die in this series or not, I don't know. Probably, I don't know. But yeah, he gets killed later.
Doesn't Gadriel wind up marrying Celadorn? The like high guy right now?
That you're looking at two different people.
Okay.
One of the weird things about Rings of Power is that there is no Celeborn. We have not met Celeborn, which is weird because Galadriel should already have been married. Okay, that battle that we just watched, that whole fall of Eregion, Celeborn was one of the quote-unquote heroes of that battle, and he was not there. If he was there, he was not on screen. Yeah. We have basically not been introduced to Celeborn yet. And they would have already been married.
And had a baby, right?
So, I mean, legitimately, in a way, Yes, had a baby because that baby, their daughter marries Elrond.
Which later on is Erwin's
then they have 3 kids, right?
Yep.
They have 3 kids: Elladan, Elrohir, and Arwen. But yeah, so we haven't even met Celeborn yet. Celeborn would have been basically one of the people holding that battle together for the elves. I mean, the elves did not really win that battle. So that part was accurate.
I thought he was the main guy there, the king guy.
No, the king his name is Gil-galad, and he was king of all elves for a long time. That is going to change at some point, not surprisingly.
Yeah.
Which again is
especially
how
after what just happened. Yeah.
There was an ass whooping there, right? But they were also, shit was stacked against them pretty bad.
And I also thought there at the end, instead of looking to him for comfort, they kind of looked to Gadriel.
That was weird.
Which means they automatically they've lost their respect for their leader. Is the way I took that. And
that whole end part where Galadriel wakes up and Gil-galad is sitting there like watching her. That was the weirdest thing that was one of the weirdest things in this season for me. Like, why in the hell are they doting over Galadriel at this point? I don't get it, because Galadriel is so different. If it was canon Galadriel, I would believe it. It would be totally understandable. Yeah. But this
just
Galadriel is different.
Seasons ago, they didn't even trust her.
Right. So they spend every bit of season 1 basically not trusting or believing anything Galadriel is telling them. And then these rings come along, and all of a sudden she's wearing one. And I'm like, what the fuck was that? How did we get to, but you're crazy, Sauron has gotten inside your head somehow, to, here, have a ring of power.
Well, she just kind of took it.
It fell.
Yeah. It was never offered.
Right. When Círdan was handing them, Círdan walked up onto the podium with Gil-galad. Galadriel's standing at the bottom of the podium. She's standing off the thing. Círdan goes to hand the 2 rings to Gil-galad and drops one. And it bounces down the steps to Galadriel. And she just bends down and picks it up and puts it on. And I'm like, what?
And if you look at the ring, it's clearly a girl's ring.
Oh, I don't know. It's not. None of them are really like. Most of them, honestly, those 3 rings are. All of them are way too gaudy for it to matter. But anyway.
Yeah.
And by gaudy, I just mean big. They're not actually ugly rings. They're just very large rings. We should probably wind this up soon.
Yeah.
If we haven't already, we're about to lose Tom and Les.
But one last thing. Yeah. When the dwarves showed up, I did almost start crying. Yeah. Especially when he's like, the prince is in mourning. It was like, oh, but he's still said, that's the thing I've loved about this whole show, is that friendship. And just once again, when you thought it was slipping and it wasn't looking too good, they once again proved why they're the friends that they are, And it's through death, he was there,
And you're really going to hate where that relationship goes.
Oh, man.
Let me put it to you this way. Do you remember in Fellowship of the Ring, the Peter Jackson movie, when they're gathering everybody together in Rivendell, and they're all sitting around the table, and essentially Gimli and Legolas are already shouting at each other?
Yeah.
There is a whole lot of...
the way they were constantly at each other, too.
No. Yeah, but no, I'm talking... Right. But the deal is that enmity between those two, that was a hardcore and long-standing just divide between dwarves and elves. That starts with Elrond and Durin. As much as I hate to break this to you.
Yeah.
Because I'm breaking your heart here, I know. But
You can kind of see that happening anyways,
Right.
because in a way they kind of use the dwarves for the mithril.
Yeah, totally. Sauron
So
straight up
all
did
of this
that.
going on and his dad going crazy and everything else is because of the elves and what they're doing right now, you know.
Yeah, and the deal is that Durin has a problem. Durin has a list of problems, but Durin's
Yeah.
got a really big problem. And that is yet one more thing in this show that is completely out of timeline. That didn't happen until later. But it actually, in a way, makes sense because it gives Durin a huge problem that he's basically going to have to go hardcore isolationist next season to deal with. He's going to have to withdraw from. It's going to be years before he unless they do something very weird, it's going to be years before he talks to Elrond again, if ever, because they're just not going to leave the mountain until they have to run screaming from it, which should take a couple of generations, but.
Well, there's a lot to fix.
Yeah. So that whole dwarf thing, if they're going to keep that going, it might be its own separate deal for a while with no contact with the outside world, which might be an interesting way to tell that story. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
We will see.
Very interesting.
Anyway, I doubt we're done talking about Rings of Power, but we are done for now. Les, what you got?
I was about to say, Les, you have any questions?
None that wouldn't be answered by... What the hell are you talking about?
None that wouldn't be answered by us rambling on and on for another hour, which we're not doing. So there we go.
What you talking about, Willis?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, guys. I kind of geek out, and Mikey seems to know the answers most of the time.
Which just feeds my geeking out. So it's bad. I was trying to watch the clock to keep it from going too long.
I asked B, and he's like, I don't know.
Right. He just agrees with the previous statement. Right.
I'm okay.
Yay.
I've just been watching a few programs that I enjoy, which is the way you watch things. The wife and I don't know if I told you, we finally got through Only Murders in the Building, the third season. My understanding they're going to do a fourth and final season. That's been so much fun. You've got some very witty writers, some class actors, so it makes it that much more fun.
Mm-hmm. Witty writing, class actors, and Steve Martin. Oh, I'm kidding.
Oh, now you're talking like Martin Short.
I know that. Yeah, I saw a video of him bashing Steve Martin. It was funny. He's very good at it.
Yeah, they've even done specials together, which is kind of unique when you think about how they do bash one another. Right now, that's about all I've got. But watch the skies.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, I've heard good things about Only Murders in the Building. So I haven't watched any of it yet, but I have heard good things about it.
Well, if you get the chance, it's well worth the time. Each season is about 10 episodes, about 45 minutes each, so 3 seasons doesn't last long.
I've told you about how I watch these things, man. They last a while. But that's because I'm weird.
Not weird. Unusual, maybe.
No, weird was right.
wondered who was going to throw that in.
It weren't me, buddy.
You tried. We just can't have nice things around here.
What's up, Thomas?
I was going to ask you guys. I saw an ad for this. I guess it was on YouTube. I really haven't taken the time to kind of look into it, but it was a ad for a new series that's going to be on Amazon titled The Nautilus, and it looks like it's like Captain Nemo Year One. Basically, how they get the sub and start off the legend. And I was like, I had not heard anything about this, but it looks good.
Interesting.
Sounds
Amazon's
interesting.
been doing some really good originals.
Yeah. So, it's like I've seen it once. I just haven't taken the time to kind of research it and try to find out more, especially when it starts. Because, yeah, I'm kind of, just from what I saw, I was like, this could be fun, and it's something different.
Right.
And we keep talking about that, wanting something a little different, and hey, it seems like good territory.
Cool.
Well, for me, in addition to seeing that, I'm continuing my bodycam videos, and I've actually been working on the schedule for next year, which is strange because I usually have it done by now, but I got a big gap from the middle of next year. So, but
I'm sure we'll figure something out.
I'll get it fixed by the time we get there. It's not a big deal.
Right.
But something I had noticed in watching these videos, and Hollywood's responsible for this. When someone gets automatically put in handcuffs, it's like, okay, you haven't told me my rights. Well, that's not an automatic thing. The Miranda rights are if they decide to start questioning you about whatever you're being arrested for. But it seems like everybody thinks that, well, you're just supposed to say that every time you put handcuffs on me.
Right. Well, and I think that was actually they actually changed that law, not that like within the last couple of years.
Oh, have they?
To where to where that's not a real requirement anymore. You can, but the Miranda thing is not. It's not a requirement anymore. I don't think.
Yeah, but it's definitely used if they're going to question you, and so there's. I mean, I've seen people go, well, hey, you hadn't read me my rights, and the response is, well, I'm not asking you any questions, so I don't need to read you your rights. But that's because of what we've seen on cop shows and movies and all that. Someone's immediately arrested, and they start off with you have the right to remain silent, da 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 da, and just.
Oh yeah, it's definitely as much a TV thing as it is a real life thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, there's a couple of them that were kind of most of the ones that that are being posted are DUIs, and I get it and all that. I don't care for watching those. I mean, if you've seen one, you've seen more or less all. Very little changes. So I don't find those interesting. It's some of the other stuff, the other incidents, like even shoplifting or just weird stuff going on. I finally saw my first kids locked in a hot vehicle.
Oh.
This is just within the last day or so. Yeah, this happened earlier this year. Guy went into Harbor Freight. He was trying to do a return. 5-year-old and a 4-year-old in a van. It was currently 92 degrees. And he thought he had set up the van to where he can turn the engine off but still leave the AC going, but that didn't happen. So someone walked by, heard the kids crying, so they immediately called 911, and they came out there, and this doofus sees somebody at the van, so he runs out of the store going, "What's going on?" It's like, "Hey, you asshole, your kids are dying. Turn the fucking AC on." And he spends this entire time, I'm sorry. It just listening to this guy, because he's like, "It's been so difficult. I'm doing this by myself, trying to take care of the 2 kids. I don't have a job." It's like, and I'm going, dude, there's a lot of single parents out there in the world, and yeah, it's difficult for them, but they're not doing bullshit like this.
Mm-hmm. They're not leaving babies in cars.
No. And he says, well, it's
here's
only
a bright idea. How about take them in with you?
Mm.
Wow.
Well, he said they were asleep, and I guess he thought he was only going to be in there for just a little bit. I'm like, okay, you're talking about doing an exchange. He says, I was only in there 5 minutes, and then he told paramedics 5 to 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of the paramedics went in the store, asked cashier, and cashier says, "Oh, it was 15 minutes at least." And they eventually got one of the employees to go back and get I guess they got a copy of the closed circuit TV recording. But they definitely asked her to look and see how long he had been in the store. Anyone want to guess?
27 minutes.
At least half an hour.
45 minutes.
What'd you say, Mike?
27.
Exactly. 27 minutes.
You've seen this one, haven't you?
I have not. That's my hard deadline for leaving my kid locked up in a hot car, too. Of course, my kid's 18 and he can open the door, but anyway.
Yeah,
also, I wouldn't leave him in there.
Yeah, that was aggravating and heartbreaking that was going on. He's like, "Oh, she's reaching out to me," and the officer's like, "Yeah, you're not going over there right now."
Yeah. That's insane.
I'm sorry. And of course, he also has marijuana in the van too. I'm like, okay, yeah. Why am I not surprised?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Man.
Yeah.
Common sense ain't so common.
Common sense is a lie we tell ourselves.
And there's one. I guess I'm gonna. I guess I might put this. Send a link and maybe put this in the show notes because it's so funny. I don't remember off the top of my head what crime was committed, but there was a couple that were being chased by the police, and they were riding bicycles. You don't really go into details why they're on bicycles, but the guy gets caught. And the woman's still going down and being chased. And she turns and goes down this other street. And this is a normal residence. And he gets on the PA, say, "Get off the bike, get off the bike, get off the bike." Okay. Down the road a little bit is a couple in a car. They're seeing what's going on in all this. And as if this was taken straight out of Looney Tunes, he opens the door just in time for for him to hit her off the bike, for the officers to catch up and put her in handcuffs.
Apparently, objects in the mirror are closer than they appear.
They're just watching this come their way, and he just opens the door and thunk.
Oh, darn.
It's a Wile E. Coyote moment.
The master criminal foiled again.
Would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for that damn door.
Mm-hmm. And the dog. I don't know if there was a dog, but...
Oh, there probably was. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
They're always around somewhere.
Yeah. Carrying their leash and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sorry, that's a little inside joke. That was something was talked about before the show.
Yep. Throwback.
Okay. Yep. Okay, let's go ahead and take a quick break, and then we'll get into this week's fun stuff. And we're back. And for this week, we are doing our final casting call of 2024. If you're new to the show, what we do is several times a year, usually every other month, I will come up with a scenario of a movie or a show or something else. It's usually comic book related, always pop culture related, and we will cast said show or movie or whatever. We've done an animated series, we've done live action TVs and movies, continuations and all that. So for this one, we are doing a 1979 film of Marvel's The Mighty Thor. So with that, let's go ahead and start doing our casting. Who would like to go first?
I'll go first. Okay, our first one is Thor / Don Blake. Now, for those who don't know, Don Blake was the body, I guess, that Odin made for Thor to kind of learn humility and kind of knock them down a few pegs here. So I decided to make it the same person. And this wasn't my first choice. He would have been later in my list, but I found someone different for that. So he's gonna be a good brother. I went with Robert Urich.
Urich.
Robert Urich.
Urich.
There we go. I'm still having a problem with some of those sounds.
He was Spencer.
Did what?
Spencer. Yep. Spencer for hire.
It's that Ice Pirate. Also.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. So what are you going to do? Like, style his hair differently and put glasses on him or something to make him Don Blake?
Well, they don't know who Thor is. I mean, right?
That was a Superman joke.
Oh, okay. It's like...
Meow.
Meow.
Yep. I held my arms up, but you didn't see it.
But yeah, as a leading man, I can see it.
Yeah,
Robert
definitely.
Urich's pretty good.
Okay, cool.
I'll go next, and I actually cast them separately. And I'll admit that my list may seem a little eclectic, but I'm hoping that will lend itself to the realism or lack thereof of the story, because it's Thor. It's not particularly realistic, but I was looking for somebody, not necessarily somebody straight up Nordic, but somebody, a larger guy, who can pull off some bravado. So for Thor, I chose Nick Nolte.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
He was in some stuff at this point. He got really big with 48 Hours a few years later, but he had done the lead in a few movies at this point, and
True.
actually, I think, a better actor than a lot of people gave him credit for.
Yeah. Wasn't he in The Deep? Wasn't that like a late 70s movie?
Was he
with
in that?
Jacqueline Bisset?
I'm not sure off the top of my head.
Or I'm thinking of somebody else.
Might have been somebody looked just like him. Who knows? Yeah, The Deep was 77. Yeah, he was in it.
Okay.
You are correct. But so I guess since we're doing that, we got to do these together. My choice for Don Blake, I wanted to go with somebody because other incarnations, they did have pretty dramatically different appearances in the comics. Not always, but often it was. In different tellings of the Thor story, Blake was sometimes more like a human host than an actual separate body for Thor to be in. So I went with someone who looked quite a bit different, but also would make for an interesting character actor in his own way. I chose Gary Sandy.
Okay.
Who was best known for his role as the station manager in WKRP in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I thought it would be fun. It would definitely be a very different presentation for the character. So.
Right. Yep.
And who didn't like that guy in that show? I mean, come on.
Keep that in mind when we come to me.
Cool.
Cool. Yeah, I like those. I like those choices. Okay, Les, what you got?
Well, for me, I went for Thor as a true bodybuilder or someone that had that presence. And I was thinking, and this could be a swap out, I went with Gordon Scott, man that played Tarzan in a couple of movies. I believe that he could have done the acting without a problem. So
I'm laughing. I'm sorry. I'm laughing because that's my choice too.
That's what?
That was my choice too.
Oh.
Yes, because he did 5 Tarzan movies in the late 50s, and eventually moved to Europe because he got typecast as Tarzan, so he started doing other films like in Italy or yeah. Go ahead, Les. I'm sorry.
I was going to say that he also did the movie Battle of the Titans, where he played Remus.
Cool.
Yeah. Obviously, I think that's a good choice. So.
Thank you. And for Blake, and I pondered this one, but I decided to make it a film that would be very stark. No, I did not choose Arnold Stang, but I did choose Richard Dreyfuss.
Okay.
I can see that for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Hard to go wrong with Richard Dreyfuss and all, but
right.
Yeah, that's cool.
Cool. Okay. Well, for me, we've already gone over my Thor pick. So for Don Blake, I chose someone He was real popular at the time. But is thought of more about his comedic skills than his dramatic skills, although he did have dramatic roles early on in his career. But definitely could bring that humanity to Thor. I went with John Ritter.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. I like that.
Definitely be different.
Yeah. In any potentially fun way.
Mm-hmm.
He could pull both.
Mm-hmm.
Dramatic and goofy.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Quite a range in between, too.
Okay, Liz.
Our next one is Jane Foster. Now, in 1979, when our movie was, I guess they would still kind of been, and I guess with the whole Don Blake thing too, she was in love with Thor and with Dr. Blake. But, that was another thing. How did he just come to Earth and become a doctor? I mean, come on, schooling. But anyways,
don't read too much into it.
But then in like a Superman kind of thing, he finally revealed that he was one and the same, and long history there with him and Jane Foster. I kind of wanted to go with kind of, I guess, a naive person, because her life changed when she made all these decisions, especially, well, I guess when she came back from Asgard, but her life changed because of Thor. But I kind of wanted to find someone kind of sweet and innocent at first. So my person is Pam Dauber. Kind of the girl next door.
Yep.
There
you go. Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yep.
I think she could play a tough part too. Because of course Jane Foster later on becomes one of Marvel's greatest superheroines, so.
But at this time, we did not know that, did we?
Yeah.
Nope.
No, not at all.
No.
Only as a what-if story.
Yeah. But, early years, they put that girl through hell. I didn't care for her whole breast cancer storyline. I thought that was kind of but But other than that, they put her through hell. Wiped her memory. They do that a lot in Marvel, don't they?
They do that a lot in comics in general, especially in that time frame. This was the 70s.
Yeah.
They were starting to push things a little bit, push the envelope a little bit, do some darker stuff.
Yeah. And at least they didn't put her in a refrigerator, so.
Well, I was about to say that's where the term women in refrigerators came from.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. Mikey.
Okay. So, I kind of had a similar idea. I wanted to get somebody with some range because, she's generally speaking, Jane is a serious character. But also you got the whole love triangle thing going on, and so it gets and it's honestly a love triangle right out of a Looney Tunes cartoon. So, whoever it is needs to be able to roll with the punches and be as goofy as they need to be. So I chose Beverly D'Angelo.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, solid.
That'll work.
Because she's pretty good.
Jackson.
She is. She was Clark's wife.
She was Clark's wife. Which proves she can put up with some BS, that's for sure.
Yeah, she can take it.
Right. She managed
to
hold her own with Chevy Chase. anybody who can do that is a genius, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. And she did it a few times with him.
Yeah, she kept coming back.
Yep.
Like 4 movies.
Well, she was also great as Patsy Cline in Coal Miner's Daughter.
I forgot that was her. Yep. She was also in that the newer Christmas movie that I liked. The guy from Stranger Things,
Violent
Santa
Night.
Claus. Yes. Yep. She was in that too. Small part, but was still kind of cool because it was Christmas.
Right.
Good choice.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Les.
I was looking for someone younger, and I have really 2 choices for this, and they're probably pretty unknown to you folks. One was Joanna, what's her last name? Cameron. Joanna Cameron. The other was Judy Sturgis. Joanna Cameron played Isis.
Oh, yeah, her.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't recognize the name, but yeah, the faces.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the other played Dinah Girl on Electra Woman and Dinah Girl.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Don't do that if you don't believe me.
I knew the name was somewhat familiar. I just couldn't place it.
Okay.
With Deidre Hall.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Yes.
Yeah, I like those choices.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Deidre Hall was on my soap opera for years.
Yeah, she was on 16 seasons? Or something?
Yeah. She was one of the originals. I'm curious. Let's see.
Well, for me, you talk about range and mention a weird love triangle. Her film debut was basically a weird love triangle between her and a man and a monkey. I'm talking about Jessica Lange.
That's a big monkey.
It's a big monkey.
Oh, man. Yeah, cool. She proved to be pretty good.
Good choice.
Yeah, that is. And Deidre Hall has been on Days of Our Life since 1976.
She's still on it?
Mm-hmm. She's still on it. She's been in over 5,212 episodes.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's got to be close to.
That's got to be a record.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably close.
Her and Susan Gucci. Although I think she has her beat because Susan retired a few years back, so. And still absolutely gorgeous, you know.
Yeah, there's some Bob Barker numbers right there.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty, next.
All right. Our next guy, he's the daddy. We've got Odin.
Who's your daddy?
Right. He's Thor's daddy. I was kind of lost on this one because I think in the newer ones, Anthony Hopkins has done a really, really good job.
Mm.
And it's like, he could have done this in 79 too. But I didn't want to be like
somebody was going to do it.
Well, I decided not to be cheeseball. And instead I went with John Forsythe. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. Another Love Boat guy.
It was on Dynasty for all those years too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wasn't he also the voice of Charlie?
I think he was.
I think he was. Yep. Yep. He was a voice uncredited for 108 episodes.
There you go.
Oh
yeah, that's cool.
Yep.
I could buy that.
For $1.
He's got range.
Well, he's got enough to pull off Odin anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. Mikey.
All right. I actually thought about, I wasn't going to choose him, but I was thinking about Anthony Hopkins playing Odin, and I was like, well, let's do something similar. Not exactly. We're not going to use 42-year-old or whatever Anthony Hopkins to do this, but let's go with like a classically trained somebody or other, so we can honestly, just for sheer presence, just so he can be that imposing figure that Odin needs to be. So I chose Richard Burton.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, great choice, Mike. Great choice.
Awesome. I was on the right track then.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was one of my thoughts also for a different character.
Yep, I think he'd be really good at this.
Oh, I do too. Okay, Les.
Well, I didn't pick off the same people that some people did, but I did pick Richard Harris.
That's a good choice too.
Yep.
Ended up playing Dumbledore. And I guess around this time he'd also done MacArthur Park.
Richard Harris is a good choice.
Richard
I like
Harris
him a lot.
Yeah, that's a great choice.
Yeah. And as previously announced, my choice was Richard Burton.
Ah, good choice.
Yeah, I thought about picking that guy.
Yeah.
So much so that I
haven't
did.
heard of him in a while.
Yeah, I know. It's been seconds.
He needs the work. So
Sure, absolutely.
Alrighty, next.
All right. Y'all are going to hate this one.
Oh, I'm looking forward to this now.
Mm-hmm.
This is the brother Balder.
Balder the Beautiful.
And yes, the beautiful and the light and peace. And I was thinking, who does that sound like? So who would have been the 1970 version of Jensen Ackles?
Oh, gosh.
I went with Robert Conrad.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. Hey, in the 70s, that guy was hot.
Okay.
Wild Wild West guy. Yeah.
Baba Black Sheep.
Uh-huh.
He had that smile. And them abs.
I will give you the pretty boy thing for sure. He was a pretty boy. He was a total dick, but he was a pretty boy.
Yeah.
I guess him being a total dick doesn't matter because he's acting.
I could see him being that though.
Sure. Oh yeah. Honestly, it's
sure of himself.
A toned down Jim West in a different setting. I could totally see it.
Don't knock a battery off your shoulder like him.
Oh, I forgot about those commercials. Yeah.
I do hope that Jensen ages a little better.
Well, and avoids the whole toxic masculinity thing. But anyway.
Yeah, So far we're safe. Fingers crossed.
You wish to call him right now, or what?
She'd love
Hey,
to,
if you have his number,
but for the restraining order.
Yes,
I will talk to you guys later.
I can give it to you right now. Number is 7.
7.
Mikey,
It rhymes with heaven?
7.
8675309 is the number. Speaking of Mike.
Speaking of me,
Who's your beautiful and light?
My choice for Balder the Beautiful. Now, see, you made that joke, but this is a choice that Les might not like so much.
Not Flash Gordon.
Because when I was looking at some of the images for Balder just to get an idea. I chose Sam J. Jones. I chose Flash Gordon.
Flash Gordon.
See what you started? Thank you a lot.
You'll save every one of us.
A good choice.
Right. I mean,
yeah, it's a viable choice.
He's got the look. And see, if this had been a hit, he would never have bothered to do Flash Gordon. So I'm saving the world, man.
He would have been too busy.
Mm-hmm.
But then he couldn't have gotten to do Ted, so.
Yeah, but he had to go through a lot of shit in his life to get to Ted. I mean, I don't feel bad about that.
I was about to say, is that a bad thing?
Yeah, I don't feel bad about taking that away from him because I think we could get him in a better spot in his life for that.
Yeah. He reminds me of the guy, Rocky on Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Uh-huh. Yeah. There's some similarities there. Yep.
Now I have to look and see who that was.
I know, he might be a good choice for this role, too.
I want to say, Rocky Horror Picture Show will come back up.
Now, Les's pick is going to piss me off, okay?
Peter Henwood.
Okay, for my choice, I saw him as Balder the Brave.
Yeah.
And I started thinking about this and wanted somebody that had an air about him. I went with Max von Sydow.
Oh, wow. Cool.
That's an interesting choice.
It is. That's a different Balder for sure, but that's cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for me, I did go. I went with the Balder the Brave approach as well, and obviously, when I was working on this, I was watching something. I was watching a particular show, so I went with Peter Lupus.
Oh, cool.
Peter what?
Peter Lupus.
Lupus?
Okay.
Okay.
Mission Impossible.
Willie. He was Willie in the Mission Impossible.
Mm-hmm.
The muscles of the team.
Yeah.
There's also Norbert.
And looking at younger pictures, he had that nice.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah.
Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he was great.
He can still be the beautiful too.
Yeah, I mean it fits.
Yeah, he was great as Norberg.
Mm-hmm.
Dang! First picture that comes up for him is a picture on Muscle Magazine.
Yeah.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's bodybuilder, yeah.
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 So between that and that strong cheek line.
Mm-hmm. It'll do.
How about his picture from Playgirl?
I try not to search that on my computer.
Yeah, Leanne uses that computer. She's got to be nice.
But he was in that also, I guess. I could see that at the time period that he was buff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty, next.
Okay. This one I totally flaked on. I could not find a good person for the executioner. So I went with a strong guy from the 70s. And I came up with Arnold. So, wah, wah, wah.
Arnold who?
Arnold Stang.
I was going to say, you're going to make me say it, aren't you?
Yes, you're going to have to say it.
Schwarzenegger.
That's pretty good.
Schwarzenegger.
That's pretty good.
Hey, Liz, that's a great pick.
Uh-oh.
Oh, God.
Oh my
So I
God.
wasn't too far off. I was afraid that I just kind of went. Bleh.
Oh,
But
no.
he did play like Conan and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
He did.
Yep.
That's viable.
And yeah, I mean, Executioner's the kind of character, I mean, large guy is pretty much all you need to cast the role. So,
yeah.
I mean, he's a bad guy, and I mean, yes, you could do some stuff with a great actor that would be interesting, but I don't think he was ever meant to be the interesting quote unquote bad guy. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, my pick
What's
for
the Terminator hit?
no, I'm talking about the Executioner.
Oh, okay.
I know.
I thought you were talking about Arnold.
Schwarzenegger he played Hercules too. He played good guys too. And Conan,
Yeah.
these are good guys. No, I'm talking about Executioner because my choice is a large guy from the 70s. I went with Rosey Grier, but not Arnold, but you know.
Okay.
Okay.
Interesting.
Thought it would be
I
fun.
like that.
Yeah.
Good. That was a good one.
Yeah. Definitely the physique for it.
Mm-hmm.
The American former football player, bodyguard, actor, singer, minister, and motivational speaker.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll whoop your ass and tell you why he's doing it.
And he knitted too.
And
Knitted or
preach.
crochet.
And preach
Wow.
to you while he's doing it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Kick your ass and save your soul.
Uh-huh. Same time. Versatile guy. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, his sister was a badass too.
She actually his sister? I didn't even look at that.
I did not know. I didn't know that.
Grier.
I never made the association.
Huh.
Wow.
Martial artist, huh? Described by Quentin Tarantino as Cinema's first female action star. Huh. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that either. They don't look anything alike at all.
Oh, no. My choice is another strong man. In fact, he was Mr. World in the early 50s. I went with Steve Reeves, who played Hercules in several movies.
Yep.
And he also played Romulus in the movie opposite Gordon Scott.
Cool.
Huh. That's pretty cool.
Very nice. And of course, I picked Arnold as well, as I already previously mentioned. So, all right, next on the list.
All right. Our next one up on the list is Enchantress. She is a supervillain. Right?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I kind of looked at her kind of like Poison Ivy in a way. And of course, being an enchantress, I wanted someone very pretty, so I went with Cheryl Ladd.
It's so shallow, Liz. God.
Right?
No, honestly, this role needed to have somebody. And Cheryl, oh man, yeah. Hard to
Yeah.
argue with a Charlie's Angel.
Mm-hmm.
Really, were you watching Charlie's Angels when you were picking your stuff? Because that's two now. People from that show.
Well, this was kind of like my time period, so that was one of my favorite shows.
Cool. No, it's fine. I
Not
do
a problem.
Yep.
Yep.
We were the Angels.
But there was
You
four
didn't know
of you.
that, did you? Yeah, Delana didn't play with us much.
Ah, okay. Fair enough.
Okay, Mikey.
Yeah, Cheryl Ladd, hard to argue with. I actually had, obviously, I mean, similar concept. We needed somebody pretty who hopefully could act too, and by this time, the person I picked would have been actually studying acting, so she was getting better at it. I chose Sybil Shepherd.
Okay.
Ah,
Okay.
Okay.
another one of my favorites.
Cool.
Yeah, I like that.
All right, Les.
I went. God, there were so many pretty women in the 70s.
Wasn't there? I was born in the 70s too.
Okay. There were. And congratulations, being born in 72. You would have been 6 years old at this time, but that's okay.
During this movie, I would have been 4.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute. What does it say on your driver's license? You said you were born in 72,
There's
right?
a lot of strange things on her driver's license. But anyway.
75. I was born in the middle. 75. Yep.
Okay. There were so many pretty ones. One of them was Angie Dickinson, who was on one of the first episodes of TV's Batman.
Yeah.
You
Jamie
had
Jones
Deidre
had a
Hall.
crush on her.
Deidre Hall from Electra Woman, co-star with Judy Sturgis. Sorry.
Easy for you.
But my choice was Mrs. Let me think here. Mrs. James Garner. They were always accusing her of being Mrs. James Garner.
Marriott Hartley?
Marriott Hartley.
That's an interesting choice.
It is. That's cool.
Yep.
Yeah, they always, I always thought that they were married because they were doing the Polaroid commercials, and they had such great chemistry.
Yeah. Like Christy Brinkley and Chuck Norris. I used to think that they were married for the longest time because they did those, Solaflex commercials together?
Yeah, but no, Christy Brinkley was married to Billy Joel at the time.
Yeah. Oh, Chuck Norris would have kicked his ass.
Well, that goes without saying. Jeez.
And not even taking his name.
Yeah.
Could have done it while he was chewing bubblegum.
Yeah.
For my choice, there was a lot to pick from, but I went with one that is known for being a rather sexy lady. I went with Caroline Munro.
I thought about her.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could put her in a wig and be just damn fine with that.
Yep. She'd do it.
Yep. All righty. Next.
All right, which brings us to our last guy, the trickster, which of course is Loki. I wanted someone fun in this role, and at first when I first picked him, I was like, no, that's maybe a little too much fun in this role, but I did it anyways, and I went with Tim Curry.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, that would be fun.
That would be a lot of fun.
I think he could pull it off for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah, I do too.
I went a different route. I went with someone. Well, I mean, it's actually not that different, but I wanted someone with presence, but a good enough actor who could tone it down when he needed to, and someone who could play the manipulator really well.
Okay.
I chose Christopher Lee.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
I almost did. I had Lord of the Rings on my mind. I don't do that.
I went backwards and went back to Dracula. So
yeah,
same deal, different route to get there. But
yeah,
very nice.
I think you can definitely, yeah.
Okay,
I took a more serious route too, and there were two names that came to mind. One was Dennis Hopper, but I'm going to go with John Cassavetes.
Nice.
That's interesting.
Either one would be really interesting.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
For sure. Cool.
I went with someone who could walk the line between maybe hamming it up a little bit, but could also play it straight. And I can just hear his voice saying the Shakespearean Nordic language, whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
I went with Roddy McDowall.
Okay.
Cool.
I like that.
I can totally see that.
All right.
I like that one.
Anybody do any other casting as extra credit? Wasn't necessary, but if you did.
I did not.
I did not either.
That's fine.
I'm good.
Okay. All righty. Well, for the first time in several sessions, we've had some matches.
I know,
yeah.
Right? Kind of weird.
A few, yeah.
Yeah. So, pretty cool. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. And, of course, Casting Calls will be back next year. We got one that's I think it's going to be really interesting to see how we respond to this one. So stay tuned.
Mm-hmm. These are fun, so we're going to keep doing them.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And on that note, we are going to take a quick break and be back with Geek News for You. And we're back, and it's time for Geek News for You. In this segment, we bring a couple of news items to the table for discussion. And this week, it is Les and myself. And Les, would you go first, please, sir?
All right, sir. My story is concerning the latest issue of Detective Comics, number 1091. In this, Batman tells Superman that there is a drug now open that will heal Batman of all his aches, pains, and such. Now, this is something kind of unusual, but they do have the discussion in this post, and it's kind of fun to take in and dissect. I believe that we're at the turning point in some of the storyline, and we do have a new villain in this comic. So I want to say this will be a good reading point for this issue, and it's probably one of those that may just jump off the shelf. I think it comes out today at our taping, so it's on the shelves currently right now.
Cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. For me, mine is also DC related, although this is not. Well, I mean, it is comics, obviously, but apparently it sounds like director Luca Guadagnino, and I'm sure I'm really screwing up that name, and Daniel Craig, who worked together on a film titled Queer, which is going to be coming out at the end of this month, are interested in bringing Sergeant Rock to the silver screen. And for those who do not know that, Sergeant Rock is a character from the DC Comics. It's from one of the war titles back in the day. So this is this is going to be interesting, because I'm liking the fact, they're looking at characters other than Superman and Batman. James Gunn has already talked a lot about them doing something with Swamp Thing. We have Creature Commandos coming out or toward the middle of next month. And of course, they've already had Suicide Squad and all that. So I'm excited about this. This could be. I mean, I don't know anything about his movies or anything, but I mean, I know Daniel Craig, and the fact that he's wanting to do a Sergeant Rock film, as long as it's handled right, could be cool.
I agree. I think the last time I heard them talk about Sergeant Rock was with Schwarzenegger.
Well, there was one time where they were talking about oh God, I'm blanking on Bruce Willis. They were going to do Sergeant Rock with Bruce Willis. So
Interesting.
So this could be cool. So, alrighty. Any special shouts or mentions this week?
Just for giggles, this will be episode 400.
Yep, I was going to mention that. This is 400.
God, we've done a lot of these things. Holy shit.
Yep. Quite a few.
What the hell were we thinking? Holy moly.
Well, I mean,
I said we'd only be on for 2 seasons, maybe.
Yeah, that was me. I said that. the hell, man?
So yeah, it's hard to believe that we've made it here. But yeah, 400 down, and who knows how many more to go.
Yep, pretty cool.
At least a few, given the schedule that we have. So
Yeah, at least another 4 or 5.
Yeah, we got to
beyond
get
that,
to the end of the year.
Yep. So, alrighty, we'll move on to our regular shout-outs. First one, I thank Pop Goes the Culture for allowing us to be part of the great podcast network. Definitely check out those other shows. There will be a link in the show notes. We also want you to check out the fine men and women who spread the word of the fellowship on Twitter by retweeting our links, and that is the people of Podern Family. The best way to check them out is to do a search, #Podern Family, all one word. Scroll through, and whatever catches your eye, by all means, click on that link and download an episode. We hope you have a great time listening to them. We want to thank Manny the Martyr for supplying the music to our podcast. In our show notes, you can check out their music. There's some other pieces there. And finally, you, dear listener, thank you for downloading and listening to today's episode. We value your feedback. Any comments, suggestions, complaints, observations, questions, what have you, please send them our way. Email address is email@thefellowshipofthegeeks.net. Or you can go to the website, go to the About Us page, and there's a contact form you can fill out there. Don't think it may have been mentioned earlier, but we do have a Discord that's free to join. We post a lot of news items, stuff to discuss, stuff to laugh at, and we do have a feedback section in there. Discord is free to sign up, and the apps are free. We do have an open invitation on our homepage, so come join us today if you want to hang out with us.
Mm-hmm.
Social media, we're on Facebook, The Fellowship of the Geeks. On Instagram, Twitter, and now Blue Sky, we are at Fellowship Geeks. If you like to follow our personal Twitter accounts, Mike can be found at Mikey Geek. Liz can be found at LN_geek. Les may or may not be found at Fake Les Webster. And I can be found at Tom TC Geek. And from wherever you download our episodes, if you'd be so kind as to rate and review the show, it would be greatly appreciated. Anything else before we say goodbye?
Just thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Appreciate you listening.
Thanks for listening, everybody. We appreciate the support as always. Until next time, geek on, my friends.
We thank you for listening to the show. Comments, suggestions, and questions can be sent to email@thefellowshipofthegeeks.net. You can follow us on Facebook at The Fellowship of the Geeks and on Twitter at Fellowship Geeks. Until next time,